God's star shines on us all. The star shines in us, a daily reminder to rise from darkness. Run towards the star, and the shadows will fall behind. The worst kind of sadness is not being able to explain why. The strongest among us are the weakest among themselves. Smile through silent pain, cry behind doors, fight the unknown battle. If you listen, you can only reply, but you can't understand. Try to be a rainbow in their sky. A soft heart is courage in a cruel world. Death is not a solution, it's just the outcome. The bad news is, nothing lasts forever. The good news is, nothing lasts forever. I wrote that poem in prison. Although it's not original, not really at least. Some of it was mine, well, a little of it. Most of it was just famous poems I remember growing up. Reworded a little bit, of course. I planned to publish it someday, so I had to make sure I wasn't actually going to copyright anything. My inmates liked it, but they didn't like it because of any meaning it might have imposed on them. They just liked it because I gave them something to do. Like I gave myself something to do when I wrote it. Do you like it? No, you probably didn't even get it. That's okay though. Now that I'm out, I realize there's definitely a lot to do in life than just sit around writing and reading poems all day. I was in prison for 1 year, 2 months, 8 days, and about 3 hours and 45 minutes. Obviously, you want to know why, so I'll tell you. When I was growing up, my mom would tell me if I wanted something, then don't just stand around waiting for it. She said to just go get it and to let nothing get in my way. Now, what she really meant was to strive for what I wanted to accomplish and not to let anybody tell me I couldn't do it. But even at 23 years old, I still was dumb enough to take it to the max, overblown, serious version of that, which was to literally take anything I wanted, no matter the consequence. So I did. And one sunny afternoon, I decided I wanted a chocolate bar, some Doritos, and maybe a 7-Up. So I checked out the nearest gas station, barged right in with a Colt 45 revolver, which wasn't out, I just thought I would need it to back myself up if it got ugly. Grabbed a half-melted Hershey bar, a big bag of Doritos, which felt like they were half empty, and a beat-up 7-Up can, which was probably expired. You ready for the kicker, though? Little did I know, there was a rookie cop in there, too. Just barely on the force. When I noticed the cop, I pulled out my revolver to make sure he knew my intentions. I know. The dumbest thing you ever heard, right? Risking my freedom, my life even, just to prove I had some balls. Trying to flee the scene I just made, the rookie managed to pull out his gun. But that wasn't the only thing he pulled. The poor idiot blew off his foot. When the gun hit the floor, it went off again, sending the second bullet in that clip straight towards a man with his face against the floor. He was done for, and the rookie was charged with involuntary manslaughter. Meanwhile, I get away, but the station clerk and the rookie had impeccable memories and face ID'd me. One thing led to another, and boom, I was sentenced 4 years in the pound. I had good behavior, though. In fact, my behavior was so good that the warden himself excused my sentence just over a year later. That had never happened before. Before I knew it, I was famous in that place. Even got my picture taken with a couple of rookies, one of which blew his foot off. When I got home, I was welcomed by half my parents. My mom loved me and she could never let me go, no matter what I did, even if what I had done was 10% her fault. My father had left just 6 days after my sentence. My mom had no idea where he went. He got up in the middle of the night, told her he loved her, and drove away. She didn't try to stop him, but she didn't know he wouldn't return. The thing is, my father had a habit of getting up in the middle of the night, and sometimes he would leave, but he always came back by sunrise. And every time he came back, there was a 50-50 chance the house would smell like smoke or liquor. My father was always a quiet man, always kept it hidden inside, like he had a dark secret, and yet he was always smiling, too. A couple months before I got out, my mom decided to turn on the news, and she never watched the news because it always made her sad. And my mom never liked being sad. She always thought sadness was the one emotion that could keep you from the 2 L's in life, loving and living. Meanwhile, my father, who found refuge on the other side of the country, had discovered life wasn't worth it anymore and that it wasn't worth it for anyone else either. He spent the last few months of his life meeting the kind of people you don't want to meet. Somehow he managed to get himself an assault rifle, and next thing you know, he goes on a mindless rampage killing everyone inside. My father's incident made national news that day. The same day, my mom decided to watch the weather broadcast. Instead, she got hit by the classic breaking news headline and my father's lifeless corpse. The cops had got to him before he surrendered. He even tried to shoot the cops too, which ultimately ended in his demise. My mom cried for 2 days before she finally got the call. A call from a footless rookie cop explaining her now dead husband had just killed 14 pedestrians and injured 11 others. My mom and I sat with each other every day, and most of the time we wouldn't say anything. We just let the silence wash over us. Only thing is, when you're in silence, you start to think, and when you start to think, you think crazy thoughts. Like what my life would have been like if I wasn't an imbecile in that gas station. How different it might have been if my father was still there. Then the thoughts get philosophical. Was it by chance that there was a cop there that day in the gas station? All those people that died by my father's hands, did they deserve it? Could they have been murderers too? And the man who got his face blown off by the footless rookie? Could he have been a terrorist and deserved to die? Or were these people as suspected and of the most innocent and pure of God's children? The truth is, they were just humans. Humans caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. And no matter what they've done, what they've seen, what they've heard, they were no different than my father and I. We're all God's animals surviving in the devil's wilderness. It was never supposed to be survival of the fittest, but loving animals like my father became consumed by the fire of the wilderness. He became the fittest. A week after I was set free, it was a Thursday at 2:24 in the afternoon, and my mom and I were sitting in silence, like usual. But we were attacked by a burglar with a gun. He broke into our home, killed us both, never took anything, and vanished. It was the footless rookie.